you on a trip to the south side.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to Candid Conversations. I am your host, LaDwanya Roberts, and we have a very, very special show for you all today. As promised, we are doing part 2 of the conversation about friendships. Before I bring the ladies in, I want to introduce and I guess highlight, okay? I love products. I love going to the beauty supply store. I love good food. I just love just stuff, right? When you're married with 3 kids, got a house, it's just stuff you need. And you find stuff you love sometimes. You find stuff that just is not going to work. It's not going to cut it. But when I find a good product, I like to share it with everybody I know and love. And so I decided, let me just go ahead and let my viewers know what I'm feeling this week. Okay, so really quick story. Me and my 2 daughters, we all have natural hair, thick, long hair. And my daughter broke my blow dryer trying to blow dry her own hair. Okay, so I needed a new blow dryer. I didn't feel like going to the huge beauty supply store where you get no customer service. So I went to Sally's. Remember Sally's beauty supply store, y'all? Okay, so I went to Sally's. It was very small. It's like boutique shopping, and I almost totally forgot about Sally's. And I honestly only went to Sally's is because I was going to go to Target, but Sally's is next to Target. I was like, oh, I ain't gonna go to Target. Let me go to Sally's. Anyway, the young lady, I told her I needed a blow dryer, and she said, have you ever heard of Silverbird? I'm like, no, I haven't heard of Silverbird. She's like, everyone is talking about the Silverbird. I've heard great things. You should try it. I'm like, okay, so I did. So I picked up this blow dryer. It's called the Silverbird. It was only about $45. When I tell you, it comes with the comb that you can attach to the blow dryer, but it's not hard plastic. It's almost like a rubber. You know, it's very durable. And when I used it, I did not have to blow dry the same part of my hair like 8 and 10 times. Literally 4, maybe 5 strokes, it was straight and I can move on. So I absolutely will recommend the Silverbird for anybody who likes to, you know, sometimes take care of your own hair. I do go to the salon sometimes, but you know, a lot of times I like to get in there and do my own hair. So anyway, Silverbird, you got to check it out. So we're going to go ahead and get into the conversation. We have Michelle Brown is back with us. Hey, Michelle.
Hello.
We have Thi-Lai Simpson is back with us. Hey, Thi-Lai.
Happy New Year.
Oh, yes, Happy New Year. And we have our college student, Taylor Yost. Hey, Taylor.
Woo, Taylor.
Okay, so our last show, we talked in depth about friendships. Thi-Lai spoke about how the pandemic has illuminated the importance of friendships. I think we all agree that friendships are important to have. Michelle talked, when we were talking about ghosting and that whole issue, Michelle spoke about how she don't really like to ghost people too much. She really want to tell you, like, if she don't mess with you no more, she want to tell you why, so she can get you all the way together before you move on to your next friend, okay? And then Taylor so wisely advised us all to keep your grass cut low, because when you cut your grass, you can see the snakes, you know, you can see what you're working with, right? So it was such a great conversation. If you have not seen that episode yet, I truly advise you to go back and check that one out. So we're gonna pick up right where we left off, ladies. So last time we spoke, we started the conversation about no new friends, right? And I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago, I heard a song. I think it was Drake singing it. And I'm like, okay, did Drake start this no new friends thing? I don't know where it came from. I know how I feel about it. Thi-Lai, what are your thoughts on this whole thing about no new friends?
I am not, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm in favor of new friends. But as I mentioned during our last conversation, I think naturally as I've gotten older, my circle has gotten smaller, but that doesn't mean I'm opposed to new, like really substantive connections. You know, when you get older and you have kids and you have responsibilities, you know, you have more and you have less time to spare, your connections need to be, not need to be, but for me, I would love for my connections to be substantive. And I'm not opposed to new connections, new friends at all. And because of the pandemic, like connections and just, I guess, spending time around people, just being able to expand your just to be able to live a full life. You have to be connected to people. So if that means making new connections, and I value that because I can learn so much more being around people quickly.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to new friends at all. I don't like random, like one-off relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I just, a lot of my friends I've had for like a long time, and I like for us to have some sort of mutual understanding in regard to like why we have a connection. I'm not into recycling like girlfriends every year. I've never been into like, a bunch of relationships every other year. Like my friend's been my friend.
Yes.
But that said, no, I've never been the type to like, if there's, a new person to like enter our group to be just automatically opposed to that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're guilty until proven innocent. No, please, if we hit it off, let's hit it off. If
Gotcha.
we make each other laugh, yes, let's do all of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I love it. Taylor, what
Yeah.
man, with your young and beautiful self, how do you feel about the no new friends? I mean, I can't imagine you being closed off to it because you are young, but
Yeah,
you do
I'm
have a circle already. So how do you feel?
I think new friends are like necessary because you outgrow some people and you take on new life experiences the older you get, and some things those old friends won't be able to help you out with anymore or relate to as well as these new people who've come into your life, or these new people can take you different places than the old people in your life could take you. So I definitely think new friends is like, it's not always a bad thing. I mean, it could be a bad thing. I mean, old friends can be a bad thing, but I feel like new friends is kind of necessary because you have to change things up a little bit depending on where you are in your life.
Okay, gotcha. Makes sense. Michelle, how do you feel? No new friends. That statement.
Um, well, what I'll say is I'll dissect first the whole no new friends thing. When Thi-Lai was talking, I think what hit me was um, when you were saying no new friends, no new friends. What hit me is when we have kids and your parents tell you, okay, go to school, make friends, and you send your kids somewhere, you go, okay, be nice, make a friend. And I always have even said to George sometimes when he goes to school, okay, be nice to someone that doesn't have a friend today, make a friend, right? And when you're at a certain age, you must encourage that because that absolutely helps build character, build socialization, your social skills. And but I think when you get a certain age, just as Taylor was saying, you still are in a position of needing to make new friends for whatever reasons. And then as we get older, you get to the point where you realize, okay, all that making new friend stuff, we are taking it a little bit too far. What our parents meant was make a new friend for this day. You guys will be friends tomorrow. And if that friendship goes beyond what brought you guys together, because sometimes 7th grade math will get you a new friend because you just don't understand it. And then next time you're taking something else and all of a sudden that friend you were friends with because math brought you together and the struggle in it, now you're friends with somebody else, but it doesn't mean that you're not friends with that person. So just as Taylor was saying, you change, you grow, and it becomes necessary to expand your friendship pool. It does not mean that you are looking for a new bestie. It doesn't mean that who I can hang out with at the mall with is the same person that's going to love going to the museum with me. And so you have to appreciate your friends in all walks of life and in whatever fashion and form they come in. And when it is time to go and move on, it is time to go and move on. But for me, at my point, I kind of embrace it a little bit on both sides, but I'm a little bit leery of that word friend. I'll
Okay.
say, I'll take a new friend if that's what you turn into, but I will leave myself open to new acquaintances, to new relationships.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, makes sense. I get it. Makes sense for sure.
Can I just add one quick thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think like the no new friends, and I completely agree with Taylor and Michelle. There's something, at least in pop culture, there seems to be something negative of no new friends. And I've seen this in real life too. I've seen, at least among many of my women friends being very closed off to the idea, just automatically, no context.
Can,
Um,
Wow.
can I ask a
just,
question?
yeah,
About what Ty just said. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of is as well coming to mind when you have been in a romantic relationship and it doesn't end well and you're hurt, you can become bitter. And I've always counseled myself, along with different friends, don't be bitter about love. Always have yourself open and ready for love when it comes again. When someone wants to step into the light of love, you need to be ready for that. And because the last time it didn't work out, that's just how that ended. And I think that has actually kind of lent itself to the whole emotion of no new friends, because I think it has been born from you've been burnt by a friend. Because let me tell you, when you've been burned by a really good friend, I'm all for that. I don't need any more new friends. I don't need no more chicks around me. I get that emotion. And I think, as you were saying, Ty-Lai, this pop culture has blown it out of all up. And I think that we're kind of taking it a little bit too far, to the point of it's okay to have new friends, but don't go no new friends because a friendship failed you and you were hurt behind it.
Yeah, I get it. And I like how you mirrored that with a relationship. And a lot of what we talk about as far as friendships intertwines, it's a parallel
Right.
to a relationship, right? And you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. My personal experience has been I've had some friends who turned out to not be so friendly or not a real friend. It
Right.
never turned me off to the idea of a new best friend,
Yeah.
or more
Right.
friends. So I guess I'm different in that way, where that was not my experience. That was never my experience. Oh,
Right.
this girl did this and she did this, and I don't want any more new friends. No.
Right.
And I had a realization a few years ago, I needed to really like, wow, all of my close friends are still in Maryland. I've been in Atlanta for 15 years. I mean, I had friends, but not close friends. I'm like, okay, I need to change this, because I can't run up to the DMV every time I really want to hang out with my friends. So
right.
yeah. Ty-Lai, I'm sorry. What were you were talking
No,
about?
that was it. And Michelle hit it. I just, I've seen just like a kind of like doors that, in, among groups of women in which I have experience, the doors won't even open,
Okay.
and I can't, and I don't know what the source of that is, but, and in order to to prevent, some, like I'm maybe in an outing with a group of friends, and we have different groups of friends
Right.
that we've gained, or that we have been blessed with at different points in life.
Yeah.
I've mixed crews, at times, a long time ago in my 30s, I might bring a friend along from like another group of friends I had known from childhood, and the group was just, it was just an unwelcoming, and so that sentiment of no new friends, who is this new,
Yeah.
that is just like, that's, I don't understand it. It's painful for me. You know, there's no history there. So, you know, me being my naive, you know, I don't really just quite understand that. Like, I get it, you know, but I don't get it.
Sort of kind of like
I do get it. It's almost like I can kind of understand, because it's almost like if you had the same circle of friends for a little while, you know, and that group is tight and you got somebody trying to get in, you know, it's almost like a sorority. Like you have to do the work or whatever to earn the right to hang with us, you know. So some people, I'm not even going to say women, because I'm sure guys could be like that too.
Yeah.
Some people kind of think that way. Like you don't deserve to be here. You haven't been our friend or in this circle around for as long as us, so you don't deserve to sit at our table, you know. So and I'm glad that you said that, Thi-Lai, because it definitely leads into the next subject of, have either of you all ever introduced a friend, right, to another friend? Like these two ladies this is my friend over here. This is my friend over here. I want to introduce you to, you know, Keisha. I want you to meet, you know, Becky. Keisha and Becky really hit it off and leave you out, you know, or not necessarily leave you out, but they get closer. They get closer. You know, Keisha and Becky are now closer than you and Becky, or you and Keisha. You know what I mean? So have any of you ever experienced introducing friends and they become closer than you and that friend?
I'm gonna start this off with a big old
I want to hear what story.
That has never, ever happened to me. And I'm going to toot my own horn, because I am the straw that stirs every drink in every circle I am in. So trust me, when I bring the friends to the party, generally it's like, you know what, I have to be very careful, because I have the style of friends where it doesn't matter. Two of my BFFs, it doesn't matter who we are around, what other friends or what other groups I bring them into, they're going to blend, they're going to be okay, and they're going to be liked. I have two other friends, I have to be very careful of what other groups of friends I bring them in, because they can be quite judgmental. They give off an air like, who are all these people? And I didn't know you were all friends with them like this. And how come so sometimes you have to, so for me, it becomes, which friends can I introduce to particular or certain groups? But never, ever have I had two friends I introduced and they become friends that kind of leave me out, because once again, I am the straw that stirs every drink. It just doesn't happen to me. Sorry.
Okay, so she is just not having that shiggity. She's not.
No,
Okay.
no, not at all. No.
Taylor, have you ever experienced that? Introducing two friends who become closer than you and that friend?
Never. I can't.
Okay. Thi-Lai?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe later.
So, and this is what I will say. I didn't introduce the friends, but there was tension among friends. And I was friends with both of these ladies. There was tension for years. And I maintained separate relationships with both of them.
Okay.
That shiggity was hard.
Mm-hmm.
It was inconvenient
really
for
hard.
me.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It was such an inconvenience, you know, because it was like patronage and, you know, like shuffling and, you know, like I had already had one child and I'm like, child, if I got to go to these events and, you know, be making excuses and we can't be in one place at one time, like that's tiring. You
It's
know?
a lot.
And
Yeah.
and, you know, we got to drive and all of this other crap. Once they figured out that they had more in common, you know, than they did not, they ended up hitting it off. And I was like, it was the opposite of like me being left out. I did not care.
You were happy.
Left out.
Relieved. That was a lot of work.
You were happy. It's hard.
And yeah, it was almost like, because before that, I always felt like I was cheating on a friend.
You know, and
I'm gonna say that was never like, that was never the and got accused of cheating and got accused.
You know what? Wow.
And it blew up.
Yeah.
And that was never like the case. I was always just trying to manage Shiggity.
Right.
So
Mhm.
oh baby, once they hit it off, I was like,
That's a hard.
yeah,
I'll
gone.
say this and I'll end it. I'll
Gone
say
and be
it really
friends.
fast.
Mhm.
When it comes to friendships, and you have two friends that you really care about, but for whatever reasons they are not friends or not friends anymore, or when they met they just didn't hit it off, and the moment I say, I don't even lie to my man. I ain't gonna lie to no female friend. You got me messed up. So if I gotta lie to you and tell you I'm at the mall with Jackie, and I'm not doing this. I'm too grown for that. I pay way too many bills to lie to a. So at some point, maybe we really aren't friends. We have confused what friendship is, because I don't want to have to. You and that Tyler, that's a hard feeling, and I don't want you to ever do that again. So if they're not woman enough to say, you know what, I like you, y'all don't get along, I'm going over here with her, you know she don't want you coming, so don't even make me feel bad about it. Like, I'll see you when I'm finished and be done with it. And if she is not your friend any longer, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. And that's really, truly how I feel. Good for you.
I was gonna
There be a friend to put you in the middle of you don't even want to do that. What they say, don't let the left hand know what the right is doing. But to me, that when it really comes to your male friends and you but when I have to deal with two females and you and her don't get along, and I need to get my nails done on this end, and I need to go to the bookstore on this end, I gotta lie to somebody, I'm not lying to. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna shelter the truth either. I'm not doing it. I don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. That is not friendship. Period.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. I've experienced both. Now that Thi-Lai said that, I had two friends that I never introduced to one another on purpose, not because I didn't want them to leave me out, but they were so much alike. I knew that if they met each other, it was either going to be really, really bad or really, really, really good, but still in a bad way. And I'm not really into astrology, but there's something about these cancers. Both of these women are cancers. And I don't know. I can't even say anything else without revealing who they are for anybody who knows me. But that was a situation where I had two friends who were almost identical. And I knew it would be explosive if they met. So I made sure I never introduced those two friends. And I'm the type of person where I have friends over here, I have friends over here. We all gonna meet, we all gonna hang out at least once or twice, you know. All of my friends know each other's names. We've all hung out at some point in time, except for these two women, okay? Never gonna happen. Now, I have another situation where I did introduce, she was a new friend, but she was still a friend of mine, you know. I introduced her to another friend and they got much closer than I ever was. Nice. And it's okay because actually all of those friendships were fairly new. You know, it was when I first moved on campus, started at Clark Atlanta, had one friend in a class, I had my roommate. And, if you know how it is, if you don't live on campus, you kind of hang out with the friend that lives on campus. So I was that friend that lived on campus, so she would come to my dorm room and hang out to the next class, whatever. And she became closer friends with my roommate. At first I was just like, wait a minute. But then I was like, oh, it's okay because they have more in common. I ain't tripping. Okay. We all still hang out most of the time. It's not like they ever went out a lot without me. It wasn't like that, but I realized they had more in common. I wasn't tripping, and it is what it is, or it was what it was, So I've experienced a little bit of both things. So
can I just add a 30-second tidbit? What kind of came to mind when you guys were talking is this. I had a friend that I now know brought several friends together because she was dying. And we really didn't know that. like we just was like hanging, and we friends from high school, but none of us were always friends like that in high school. We just was really good acquaintances in high school. We, and so post high school and reunions and different things, we get together. But for the last 5 years, she had us in a chat group, and we were hanging, we were partying, we would celebrate each other's birthdays, and we keep up. And she passed away a year and a half ago, and we're still friends. And I see now that was really why she brought us together. She was very close to each of us, and she had separate relationships with each of us. And all of us sometimes would get together and hang out. But when she realized that she was not going to get better, she made it a point that we will all hang out together. And I felt like she knew that each one of us would need each other for different reasons at different times to fill her shoes, because she would no longer be around. And we have found that out a year and a half later, that as we call ourselves sisters because we're friends, and I created the whole Frista thing because we're sister friends, so we're Fristas. There are times when they call me and they can just tell what's going on with you, or I'll call like, what's going on? Are you okay? And these are friendships that prior to our friend getting sick, we never knew each other's phone numbers. We see each other on the street, we see each other at homecoming, we check each other on Facebook, but she brought us together. And I think that that's a good thing. And just how your friend came to your room between classes, you guys were friends, and you were a haven for her and comfort and peace and settlement for her. But then there was other things within her life perhaps she needed, and it was just more relatable to someone else. And I love it when that's okay. We all need people in a lot of different ways, and everybody can't be the same friend to you, but that does not mean that one person is more of a friend than the other. You're gonna have those core, because we ain't talking BFFs, we talking friends. BFFs are different people. You understand what I'm saying? So I love that we sometimes lend our friends to our friends.
Lend your friend to a friend.
Yeah, lend your friend to another friend, because they may need that friend in a different light than you do.
Absolutely. I don't want to be, your everything. It's okay. Be a friend.
And you can't be somebody's everything.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, that's true.
Lend your friend to a friend. I love that, Michelle. You're just full of good nuggets.
Yeah, lend your friend to another.
Lend your friend to a friend, because somebody,
somebody needs it.
T-shirt, not a hashtag.
Okay. I love it. So the last thing I want to bring up, I want to ask you all, during this pandemic, over the past almost year, I want to ask how you have, how and if you've done creative things, creative ways to get together and hang out with your friends, because we've discovered friendships are so important. It's a great escape from my everyday, sisterhood, all of those good things. Have you all found interesting and fun ways, safe ways to connect with your friends? Taylor, I'll start with you.
The couple of times that I've hung out with friends since, we've been on lockdown, we've pretty much done regular stuff. Like the friends that I have, like, if we go out to eat, we'll wear masks, or if they come over, we social distance. But I won't say I've like found a fun new way to hang out with my friends, because we still hang out in person.
Okay. And I guess that's different because you guys are on campus.
Yeah.
Okay. Or in college.
Like, don't go around party friend without your mask and all of that stuff. But the friend who has strict parents like you and they don't leave the house.
Yeah.
You
got your COVID crew. You got your COVID crew.
Yeah.
You got
people who are in the clubs.
And you guys got to continue to stay safe, and you do your distancing, but you got your COVID crew.
Yeah.
Because apparently it's not going anywhere. Michelle, have you done anything creative or connected with your friends in an interesting, creative way because of COVID?
Well, I'll say this. That's a big fat no. We aren't doing anything different than we did before in terms of talking on the phone, group chatting, chit chat on Facebook, group calling. We were doing that before COVID.
Okay.
When we have to get together socially distanced for somebody's birthdays, we were doing that anyway. But what I wanted to do, which my friends, I can't get one single friend to do, I wanted to do a book club, and I'm that kind of book club girl. We might read the book for 3 months. Then they didn't want to do that because it's like, well, like, okay, fine, I don't want anyone to feel pressure, and I'm like not trying to read some big Oprah book. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I'll read a romance novel, or it doesn't even matter.
Okay.
But then I thought about, let's do a TV series together, like it's a book, right? And talk about that. But
that's a good idea.
That's fun, yeah.
I right, like y'all want to do it. And I have been, what I have started doing by myself, I've started painting, like, weirdly.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Great stuff, Michelle. Great stuff. Taelar, anything interesting, fun, creative ways that you've hung out with your friends during COVID?
No, it hasn't been creative at all. It's been dangerous, and
I applaud your honesty.
That's why this thing ain't going nowhere.
We did like one Zoom call in the springtime, and that shiggity ain't even work. So I think by Memorial Day, everybody was just over it, and like my girlfriend was the first to open up her backyard.
Okay.
And, not all of us came, but those who were available were just like, yep, it's outside. She didn't have a gate at that time. So
hiking and skiing are two of the safest things that groups can do socially distance and still have fun, because the nature of hiking,
being outside,
you're really not packed together to begin with, you know what I mean? And yep, you're outside, and usually you got all this stuff on, right? And you usually are hiking a trail, which means you're not side by side with people, because you need room to fall, to slip, to grab, to move. You understand? Same thing with skiing, same thing with ice skating. So but I don't. I love my friends, because you guys are gonna hear this someday, really soon. I don't have a lot of friends that are able to do the physical that I like to do, which is one reason I decided, let's do a book, let's do a TV series type of thing,
right?
Because some of us are just physically not able.
Come up with some good stuff, Michelle. You really have. And I wanted to add or to share, because we are coming to a close. That time comes so fast when we all get together. But I do want to add what I did with a group of my friends from high school. Nice. This was in October, and we all did a Zoom call. And I thought, we'd be on the phone for an hour. It felt like an hour, really felt like an hour. We were on this Zoom call for 6.5 hours.
I was at my
guest. It was amazing. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. Oh my God.
Like that?
What'd you say?
Don't you like that?
Yes, it was very special. It was pretty special. And they couldn't figure out why we hadn't done that before. Part of it was COVID. Part of it was, hey, I'm in Atlanta. They're all in Maryland and DC. Right. Yeah, that's a huge part of it. And whenever I come home, Tyler, I'm like, hey, what you doing? Where you at? I try to see everybody. And sometimes I'm able to. It's a very small window. I'm hardly ever there for a week. It might be 2-3 days. So
everything's so shiny and so glittery and so fast. You don't get to have a real meaningful. You know what I mean?
It's so sad. It just makes me want to cry every time I come home. I'm like, I didn't get to see this one. Didn't get to see. So that was a huge part of it. They're all up there and I'm down here, and I'm like, oh, I miss my friends from high school, and you know, sometimes, you know, I can see one of them and maybe I'll see two of them, but all of us hadn't been together in such a long time. So anyway, did a Zoom call with them. It lasted for about 6.5 hours. That was such a great time. Another thing I'm doing tomorrow, Michelle, is so funny you said that. Tomorrow, I think 8 o'clock on
AM?
Lifetime, 8 o'clock p.m. on Lifetime, the Salt and Pepper biopic is coming on. Biopic, however you want to say it.
I didn't know that was coming on.
Yes,
coming
on
on? What'd you
Lifetime, on Lifetime tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So I text my Tamikas, you know, I have all these different group of
What's
friends.
coming
It's so
on at 8
funny.
o'clock? What is coming on?
The Salt and Pepper movie
Oh,
on Lifetime.
the
Taylor,
bio-
I'll tell you later who Salt and Pepper is. It's okay.
You talking about me?
Talk to you tomorrow. Taylor. I'm talking to Taylor. She's like, what?
Taylor?
Who needs salt and pepper? Are we eating? What am I missing? What's happening?
Taylor, I need you to save face, sugar.
Oh,
wow, really?
So I'm
You
so,
don't say.
but I'm so
Salt and
excited.
Huh.
Tyler, what'd you
Are you
say?
doing that party?
I was telling Taylor, I need you to save face and go, really? Salt and pepper? Oh, wow.
Salt and
I can't wait
pepper
to
is.
Oh, yes, I know who they are. Salt and pepper. So I think me and the Tamikas are gonna hop on a Zoom call and watch it together. You know? So
Yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
funny.
Did you
said
dress
that.
up like Salt and Pepper one year for Halloween or something, or Christmas? What'd you do? Did you do it? Did you dress up like them?
TLC.
Uh-huh.
We did Salt and Pepper. One of the Tamikas had an 80s 40th birthday, and it was like an 80s theme. You know, I didn't do Salt and Pepper. It was just like Adidas.
Okay.
and, you know, so I never really dressed up as Salt and Pepper.
So that's tomorrow night.
That's tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, you guys.
Okay.
It's 8 o'clock.
All
on
right, so that's
Lifetime.
really
I'm glad
cool.
you mentioned
Lifetime.
it. It gives me some ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So thank you all so much, Taylor, Michelle, Thi-Lai, for joining me in part 2 of the conversation about friendships. I hope you guys out there are inspired to be better friends, to open your hearts and minds up to new friends, to cut out the toxic friends, to ghost the friends when you need to. Don't ghost them when you don't need to. You know, whatever. You figure it out. Do what's best for you and your friendships, okay? I just want you all to continue to, you know, be good to yourselves. You know, take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and, you know, check in on the ones you call friend. And we'll see you again next time on Candid Conversations.
I'm a southern girl, yeah, I'm from the dirty south. See it in Milwaukee, hear it coming out my mouth. Mob town to A-town, you can walk it out. Real shooters, real gangsters, ain't no talk it out.